When I was with my parents, I used to have dignity, respect. Other people respect me. Now when I lay down on my bed at night, I think about them and I cry a lot. I am not at peace with myself. I hate this. I hate this life.
The Fatakis were still at the transit center, waiting to go to Lugufu camp. As a UN Goodwill Ambassador, I have spent a great deal of time in refugee camps. I thought the Fatakis might be relieved they'd reached Tanzania, but apprehensive about what was to come. I met up with them as they were preparing for the trip to Lugufu.
Jambo. Jambo sana. Kititwa. Kititwa? Kititwa. Naitwa Bone. Ngula. Okay. Benjamin. Mimi naitwa Kenge. See if I can try that. Is that the way you do it?
The ride to the camp took 4 hours over heavily pitted roads. At first, everyone sang together, knowing the journey was coming to an end. But then, as fatigue set in, people stopped singing and turned inward. Many grew sad, thinking about the days ahead. When we arrived, the boys went through a security check to make sure they weren't bringing anything dangerous into the camp. Then we met Adam, the camp director. Adam is in charge of all aspects of camp life, including discipline. For the first time, the Fatakis were facing the harsh reality of their situation.
I know you don't have a father. You don't have a mother. You've been orphaned, and that is difficult. But now you are in a new country, a different country. This is Tanzania, and you are refugees. You need to follow the rules and laws of Tanzania. And as a refugee, if you commit a violation of the law, it is Tanzanian jurisdiction, and the law will take care of those issues. So I want to be sure that you behave well, that you conduct yourselves well. Benjamin, you are the oldest. I need you to be the strong one here. I am asking you to be strong. We are all depending on you because you are the oldest of the group. Your brothers depend on you, so please be strong for them. I want to let you know that I was a refugee myself once, so I can relate to the pain that you are going through. I know how difficult life is here. It's important for me to help you understand this. Please get used to this place. You must get used to it.
They've been these kids on this journey, and suddenly they were told, now you are a refugee, now you're not in your country, you're in somebody else's country. And you should understand what that is and the rules of being a refugee. And then Benjamin, I think just the weight of the responsibility of all his family. And I think it's a harsh reality. So it's going to be a very difficult life for them. And they're going to be here in this camp for a long time. And it's going to be very hard.
But this was just the beginning. Besides emotional upheaval, the Fatakis were about to face a problem that all refugees were experiencing. Hunger.
The food is so little here. The hunger just continues. You got to wait until evening to eat a real meal. You have to stay a whole day on a empty stomach, hungry.
Sophia Moke, lives in Lugufu camp in village 24, block 22, plot 5. Like all the refugees in Lugufu, Sophia receives food from the UN agencies like the World Food Program. But as the war in the Congo has escalated, the resources of all the UN agencies have been stretched beyond their limits. International funding is no longer enough to meet the needs of all the refugees coming into the camp. This means that Sophia and the other refugees have had their rations cut in half.
Life in camp is very difficult. Where am I going to go? What option do I have? I'm going to have to live like this. I have no choice.
Because of the cut in rations, getting food has become the focus of Sophia's daily life.
Food is constantly being reduced. I'm constantly hungry. My stomach hurts, so I drink water to repress the hunger. I just have to have patience until everything changes.
Sophia is the food gatherer for the group of families in her area. Every 2 weeks, she walks with the crowds to the food distribution center.
On food distribution day, I get food. I'm very happy on that day because then there's plenty of food and you can finally have a full stomach, eating, not hungry anymore. But it does not last. And then we get the soup. They give you a big piece, but it is cut down so I can give some to my neighbors. Your piece becomes so small. When you're washing clothes and taking bath, it cannot last longer than 2 or 3 days. When I receive the food, I am grateful. It is not a lot, but I can't refuse it because at least I'm eating. When I go to the distribution center, I'm usually so tired. My body aches. My body hurts. The welcome is long, it's exhausting, and I'm tired by the time I come home.
Life in a refugee camp is difficult for everyone. Living conditions are simple, and people must work a lot harder for basic necessities they had back home. They put the few tools they were able to take with them to good use. The rest, they improvise. Although the camp is not fenced in, many of the refugees feel trapped by their circumstances. To them, it's like living in no man's land. They're not allowed to settle in Tanzania because the Tanzanian government is concerned that its economy can't support the influx of refugees. And they can't return home because the war still rages in the Congo. That leaves them stuck in the camps where there are virtually no jobs and unemployment is 95%. Almost every day is the same. There is a lot of time to think about the things that have gone wrong. The monotony does not help Echa. Despite his brother's concerns, his mind continues to wander back to his parents. He has been searching for his mother and father for 4 long years, and he is not ready to give up hope. With his mother's photograph in hand, he goes to the camp entrance to meet new refugees as they come off the trucks. He hopes the new arrivals will recognize his family and have news of their whereabouts. He is relentless.
When refugees are coming into the camp, I go and see if I can find my parents. But I don't see them. I never do. I have sent letters to the Red Cross asking about them, but in vain. I came again today to see if I could find them, but again in vain. I have not found anyone that I could ask about the status of my family.
He becomes more determined and anxious when he hears news of a group arriving from his home area.